Welcome into Missouri Valley Conference basketball from CEPQ Arena in Normal, Illinois. The Valley presents the Illinois State Redbirds against the Bradley Braves in a renewal of the I-74 series. And a very pleasant, good Saturday to you, along with the 2008 Larry Bird Trophy winner in the conference. Adam Emmenecker is with us today. Adam, this is going to be a tough game.
Yeah, is it the war on 74? Is it a battle? These teams can't agree on anything. What to call it, their series history. Regardless, 3 out of the last 4, 10 points or less. We got a good one on our hands.
Well, let's talk about our players to watch today. And Duke Deen, he does a little bit of everything. This guy can shoot. He can rebound. He can run the floor.
Yeah, the 5'8" transfer from Troy in his second year in Peoria is becoming a fan favorite as well. And you mentioned it, John, can really knock down shots. 4 times this year over 20. He had 31 points in an overtime game against Indiana State. And, you know, for Duke Deen, it's his leadership and his swagger that's a big part of what makes this team go. Leads the MVC in assist to turnover rate, top 5 in assists. And on the other side, for the Redbirds, Miles Foster, so important today for his ability to score on the inside. He's near the tops of the MVC and rebounding, offensive rebounding, does a great job creating contact and getting to the line. 2 double-doubles in his last 4 games. They need Miles Foster's toughness and his interior scoring against a long Bradley team.
Now, the all-time series, Bradley has it 71-65 in favor of the Braves, but the Redbirds have it 71-67 in favor of Bradley. Who do you believe? We have the Braves and the Redbirds, the I-74 series. We have the lineups coming up next for series between the Bradley Braves playing at Illinois State. And let's take a look at our keys to the game, a production of Live by Lowe's St. Louis.
For Bradley, no second chances. This Illinois State team is the top rebounding team in the MVC. Braves have their length but can struggle sometimes giving up second chance points. Have to limit extra possessions. And BU, this group has played really well, winning 10 of their last 11. Defense first, but get out on the offensive side. And for the Redbirds, 8-0 when leading at the half, 15-3 under Ryan Peden. Have to get off to a good start and knock down threes. Need 7 or more to have a chance to beat the Braves.
Want to experience laid-back luxury in the heart of downtown St. Louis, adjacent to Ballpark Village? Visit Lowe'sHotels.com/St. Louis. That's LOEWS Hotels.com/STLOUIS to book your hotel room today. Our lineups, they've been introduced here at CEPQ Arena. They look like this as Ty Pence is in the lineup today for the Redbirds, replacing Jordan Davis. Davis came here by way of Wisconsin, and he's out with a hand injury today.
Need a little more scoring in the backcourt. Darius Burford, the leading scorer for the Redbirds, needs to get going downhill and attack the Bradley defense.
Malavi Leons, he'll be jumping center with Kendall Lewis. Illinois State in white, Bradley in red. Randy Heimerman, Jabir Walker, Sean West are officials, and the ball belongs to the Bradley Braves. And Duke Deen, one of our players to watch at the top of our telecast. He takes the backdoor pass and scores on the feed from Darius Hannah.
Just pretty offense to start the game. Great set drawn up by Coach Brian Wardle. Have to respect Duke Diener on the 3-point line that time. The little guy sneaking behind the defense.
And the pass goes low. Foster moving in on the freshman, lost the ball, and a foul on Foster, his first. Quick hands by the Bradley Braves. And we have closed captioning for today's telecast, made possible by farmer-owned Prairie Farms Dairy, celebrating 85 years of feeding American families. So with the foul, the turnover, Darius Hannah. Connor Hickman feeding low, and Hannah scores.
That's just easy, isn't it, John? I mean, pretty offense on back-to-back possessions for the Bradley Braves. This team has been so efficient offensively, as I mentioned, winners of 10 and 11, playing their best basketball.
But getting 2 assists on 2 baskets.
Yeah, a big part for this offense. And the keys for this offense are Connor Hickman, guy's versatility going around the perimeter and his ability to facilitate. Same with Duke Deen, really open up the gates for this offense.
Burford for 3. Off the back iron, and a rebound for Bradley against a very good offensive rebounding Illinois State team. Leon stepping up And he was short with his shot, giving the Redbirds the ball right back. Foster looking for Lewis. Lewis is guarded by Darius Hannah.
And we got the length of Bradley. The front court all really long against brute force on the inside with Miles Foster trying to get it on the interior. Miles Foster drawing a foul on Atlason, but watch this Bradley possession. So just great spacing, and as this team has went along throughout the year, just really understanding roles and responsibilities. So Darius Hannah giving it up to Connor Hickman. Connor Hickman always a willing facilitator.
And there was the Defensive Player of the Year in the Valley last year. Malavi Leons creating the turnover. And last year, he had 52 steals and 52 blocks. There's number 14, Leons, who was at Mineral Area College from the Netherlands, coming to Bradley, and he's closing in on 1,000 career points, just 6 away.
And he's been really good recently, and he was a little up and down, John, early in the season offensively, but he's found his level of consistency. He's not going to be the loudest scorer, but he chips in, and you saw what he does on defense, wreaks havoc with his length.
And how about his scoring the last 4 games?
Yeah.
17, 17,
yeah.
18, 18.
And it makes it look so easy. He can get to the rim. We saw him miss one here a moment ago, but his ability to shoot the ball, he can stretch the floor. And Coach Brian Wardle told us before the game, his post touches are getting higher and higher efficiency. Good for the Braves this year, but also good for Leons as he moves to a professional.
And it's players like Leons who make those around him better.
Absolutely. Just opens up the floor, opens up the game because of what he's able to do. The versatility of Malavi Leons, a tough cover.
There's Dean for 3. That rattles in and out. Pence with the rebound.
But 4 for 4 so far for Bradley, getting good looks offensively.
Pence spotting up, didn't have the shot. Inside Lewis against Atlason. Good hands on the inside, and here's that toughness you were talking about. But Foster couldn't convert. A foul called against Bradley.
And Illinois State, you see, not the best three-point shooting team. The least three-pointers made per game in the Missouri Valley. What do? They attack to the rim, use their bigs, Kendall Lewis and Miles Foster, and we'll see Chase Walker off the bench here in not too long. Those three trying to get easy points around the rim and second chance opportunities.
As a team, the Redbirds shoot 70% from the line. Lewis 77. And in the early going, it's a 4-1 game in favor of Bradley. 2 each for Dean and Hannah, and Lewis is looking for his second. And the rebound there by Almar Atlason.
Look at the spacing for this Bradley offense. Those open middle cuts because of shooters on the perimeter.
Atlason short. After the Foster rebound, here's Banks. Pence looking inside. Burford. And Connor Hickman is able to give the ball back to the Braves, and the pass is just too wide for Malavi Leon.
And Duke Dean, I think he saw that opening. He was telling Malavi Leon's run, get your butt up the floor. A little miscommunication. Good discussion afterwards by the two teammates.
Now the Redbirds have the ball, and Dalton Banks is number 3. He played at SIU before joining the Redbirds.
And John, I think Dalton Banks, his ability to get downhill and facilitate, so important for this Redbird offense. He's been quiet the last few games.
Foster out of the double team. Banks. Foster. Banks with the assist. Foster averages 10-9 a game. There's his first 2-pointer.
And it's like Dalton Banks heard us talking about him. Getting downhill to compress the defense creates that shot opportunity for Foster. He's got that brute force left hand on the interior.
Leon's working on Pence. Getting to the basket for the reverse.
The long arms of the law. Underneath with Malavi Leon stretching with his head on one side, his arm on the other. We talked about his post game and the progression of being more comfortable with his back to the basket. Big time play for number 14 in red.
Lewis taking the feed. And he was fouled. 2 shots coming up for Lewis, who's 1 for 2 from the line.
A good offensive set as Lewis getting downhill, getting to the free throw line again. But watch this from Malachi Leons. He takes off. His head is on the left side of the rim. He's kind of floating over to the other side. And watch this extension. So back to the basket, quick spin, long extension. That's tough to block from underneath the backboard. Nice play, Malachi Leons.
Lewis with one more free throw. He's missed his last two. A 6-3 lead for Bradley in the early going. 16:03 to go in the first half, and this shot is in play for Lewis. 2 out of 4 from the line for Kendall. Malachi Leons committed the foul that put Lewis on the line. That's 2 on Leons.
Yeah, sending Leons to the bench. That's big because we talked about his versatility, how much of a difference it makes for this Bradley offense and defense.
Allison missed the long outside shot, but we have a foul sending us to break with 15:48 left in the first half. It's a 6-4 lead for Bradley. We're just getting started in Normal, Illinois, with Bradley leading by 2 over Illinois State. And let's check out today's Bird Watch, a presentation of Great Southern Bank, understanding what really matters. And 3 strong candidates here with the incumbent in the middle, Tucker DeVries. But Duke Dean has been moving up the charts for Bradley.
Yeah, absolutely. And as this Bradley team's gotten hot, Duke Dean's been the one with some explosive games along with his backcourt mate Connor Hickman. But man, across the league, John, just a high-end talent. The guy that's not even on this list is top 5 in the country in scoring, and Xavier Johnson. A lot of top-end talent. It's been a fun year so far in the Missouri Valley.
You won the Larry Bird Trophy. How was it receiving that hard work?
Oh, man. I mean, so special to see Valley great Larry Bird in a little bronze statue. And, you know, my favorite part about it, John, looking at his mustache and just seeing the detail on that trophy. It looks like they're going to get Atlas
for his second foul.
For a moving screen. So that's 2 front court players for Bradley heading to the bench with 2 fouls between Atlason and Leons. So now not often used, Darius Hanna and Ahmet Jonovic on the floor together, twin towers for the Bradley Braves.
Jonovic picked up 3 quick fouls his last time out against UNI on Wednesday, playing 4 minutes. Lewis on the outside. Kazuki 0. He has the ball now. Feeding inside for Chase Walker.
Oh, look at that. That's a big boy battle right there.
Nice touch.
That's a big boy battle. Chase Walker, freshman, got the red shirt taken off just a few weeks ago. Man, he's looked good coming off his best game. First time in double digits.
Here's a shot for 3 that goes down. Christian Davis.
And the papa scoring. Christian Davis has given off this team when he moved to the bench. It's just been really helpful to have that veteran leadership to come in the game. A little offensive pop. Christian Davis showing you why there.
Jonovic and Walker. That's interesting inside. The feed low for Walker. Good hands, good catch. Too high off the glass though. And the rebound for number 4, Jonovic. Meta had the defensive rebound position.
Bradley does such a great job spacing the floor. Look at the open paint. Stretching out the defense. Good job that time by Illinois State, cutting off driving lanes.
Walker forcing the turnover with the ball going off Janovic's leg.
And watch this on the inside. Those are 2 big bodies. 25 feet from the rim and good hands from Kendall Lewis.
Lewis getting that hand in there was big.
Yeah, Jonovic probably not the way his coach drew it up with the 3 dribble drive from the top of the circle.
I think you're right about it.
Something tells me that was not in Brian Wardle's pregame plan.
Here's Banks on the outside and on Hickman. Burford.
Tough.
Burford is in the scoring column with his first field goal. He averages 13.6 a game.
You know, John, we highlighted Duke Dean, who they list at 5'8" on one side.
Hickman. And Burford cleans it.
We highlighted Duke Dean on one side. Burford, similarly, another small guy, but he can really get up in the paint. You see the quick burst off the floor on both ends.
Hickman a near steal. Walker with the jump shot. Off the rim and down to Darius Hanna, who averages 6.5 rebounds a game. And here's Dean. Three-point attempt. Count it for Hickman.
That just almost looks too easy, doesn't it, John? I mean, Connor Hickman in rhythm. A little step back. Great balance. Pure.
Hickman is coming off a 22-point effort against UNI Wednesday in 35 minutes after 13 points on 5 of 13 shooting in the overtime loss at Indiana State.
And he's been so good for this Bradley offense. Just helps create spacing, makes every good decision.
Short on the shot by Lewis. And here's Dean racing to the front court. Dean on the outside.
Good foul.
Dean's open. And it rattles in and out for Dalton Banks. He had the shot.
Yeah, it's a good look. Good find from Christian Davis.
A block. Davis got his hand on the ball. He has his hands on the ball now for three, and that's all glass. And we have 12:15 left in the first half.
A little bit of a frantic pace now, back and forth. Both these teams willing to get out in transition. Watch this, though. The good screen by Davis, a good find from Dean. And that's pretty good defense from Kazuki. But Connor Hickman, just better offense. He has been absolutely locked in since missing a few games, coming back from injury. Connor Hickman making a play for himself to be toward the first top team in the MVC.
Demarion Birch in the game now for Bradley. 17 on the shot clock with the ball going out of bounds. And now the officials talk about it with Jabir Walker and Randy Heimerman. And they award the ball to Illinois State.
Yeah, I think good job by the officials. Anytime you get a chance kind of to come together and talk through. We were a little bit blocked, John, as that was opposite us. I think a good call by the officials.
Johnny Kinziger, one of the top newcomers in the conference in now. Here's Burford. Kinziger did not have the shot. Let's see if Burford does, getting inside Hannah, beating Foster and Walker, that is, and off his shoulder.
And the length of the Bradley defense really disrupting those drive lanes for the Redbirds.
And all the way in over the glass. In fact, that was off of Foster a moment ago. And here's Darius Hannah. Kyle Thomas running that down for the Braves. 6 on the shot clock. Birch stepping up. How did he score that?
Tough. Just matriculating through the lane. Long steps for Demarion Birch. Part of the reason this young freshman is viewed in such high esteem for this Braves coaching staff. You see that pop of athleticism.
Kinziger, cross-court pass for Poindexter. Burford stepping up along the inline. Nicely done.
That's what we were talking about earlier, John. That pop off the ground that Darius Burford gets, even though he's listed at 6 foot, maybe a little shorter than that. But he can get off the ground, makes it tough to contest his shots.
And that gives your team a lift. Hickman's open. He has 2 of those.
It looks easy for him, doesn't it? I mean, Connor Hickman,
he had all that room.
Barely breaking a sweat. Just a little jab step, hand down, man down. Number 10 in red, a tough cover.
Number 4 is Miles Foster. Looking for some space. He finds Poindexter out high. Poindexter with the shot, and that's a little bit short. Out of bounds, it will go the other way to Bradley after we have a timeout. At 10:13 to go in the first half. Connor Hickman, he shoots 41% behind the arc. And look at all the space he had there to give the Braves a 7-point lead. He has its biggest lead in the first half at Illinois State. As we take a look at our men's basketball standings, a presentation of the DoubleTree by Hilton Bloomington, the preferred hotel of the Missouri Valley Conference in central Illinois' Twin Cities. For your next trip to Bloomington Normal, call 309-664-6446 or visit Bloomington DoubleTree. Make that bloomington.doubletree.com. And Indiana State is sitting pretty at 10-1. But Indiana State and Drake have a little something to settle.
You don't see this every year, John, but if you go back to the beginning of the year, you look at the preseason standings, it was Drake, UNI, Bradley, Indiana State in that order. All four of those teams still amongst the top of the league. And we got a fun one this afternoon with Drake and Indiana State.
That we do, and Connor Hickman has scored 6 points on 2 3-point field goals. He has 2 rebounds and 2 assists, helping Bradley to a 7-point lead with Leons on the bench with 2 fouls.
And Almar Atlason checking into the basketball game with 2 fouls of his own. So Brian Wardle trying to be smart with his rotation, earn as many minutes as he can.
And a driving Demarion Birch has 4 on the assist from Duke Dean.
Heck of a cut that time by Demarion Birch, and a good find again from the head of the snake, Duke Dean.
Pass low for Foster.
And if you're not going to double him, Miles Foster has to get all the way to the rim. He wants to get back to that right shoulder to use that left hand.
But he was short, and then getting to the end line, Kendall Lewis tried to keep the ball in play for Illinois State, but couldn't.
Yeah, and what you're looking for, this is an after timeout opportunity. Let's take a look at the last Braves possession. So coming up the floor, drawing up this little backdoor cut as Duke Dean attacks. Nice finish from Birch.
Duke Dean scores on the feed by Kyle Thomas.
Second time we've seen that, right? Second time we've seen that same pass. And Duke Dean getting behind the defense and finishing.
Bradley's not standing still without the ball. Kinziger couldn't score. Offensive rebound for Illinois State. And out of bounds to Bradley.
Hitting the offensive glass. Kendall Lewis has been active down there. Got his hands on a number of balls. That is second offensive rebound. Illinois State just hasn't had the opportunity to turn the second chance forwards into points.
Illinois State had 24 offensive rebounds against Kentucky.
It's a big number.
Yet lost 96-70.
Wow. And a big game for Miles Foster in that one. 20 points, 15 rebounds. The gaudy stats. That Kentucky team's okay, though.
Maybe one of the best for Calipari. And on the drive, Birch has 6.
Well, when you have guys going to the bench with foul trouble like Leons, it creates opportunity. Demarion Birch taking advantage. He's been very active offensively in this first half.
Suzuki and Walker on the outside. Kinziger. He found some space and scores. Nice move.
How about the freshman Kinziger's earned more and more minutes for Coach Ryan Peden last few games. And
Dean's open, but he was short. And the rebound for Chase Walker.
Good rebound by Walker, going in and snaring that thing.
And all the way in, there's Dalton Banks.
And John, really the first time we've seen the Redbirds kind of loosen up that Bradley defense. Secondary break transition kind to Dalton Banks.
Here's Hannah looking for Dean. Dean guarded by Banks. Number 4 is Medjanovic. Lost the handle on it. Quickness there by Chase Walker. Ahead to Lewis. Touchdown. 23-16 with the Redbirds showing some life as we get to 7:17 left in the first half. Banks was able to feed ahead after the good play by Walker. Lewis finishes it off, and we'll be right back with basketball in the Missouri Valley Conference. The Braves have a 23-16 lead over Illinois State in the first half. 7:17 to go. Just watching the commercial about the fan hangout.
Yeah.
Just over a month. It's Arch Madness in downtown St. Louis. And it's great to get the bands, the colors with all the schools in there.
Yes.
And it starts on Thursday and will end on Sunday with the champion getting the automatic bid to the NCAA tournament.
And we just saw the standings coming out of our last break. I mean, there's a number of teams going into Arch Madness. One of my favorite things going to St. Louis, day one, all the fan bases converge. Everyone believes they can win. And just the energy and kind of the breath of fresh air. You got spring starting. It's hard to beat, John.
The ball belongs to the Bradley Braves. Connor Hickman for Darius Hannah. A handoff for Dean, lobbing low. Hannah scores.
And just a continued clinic on the offensive end from the Bradley Braves. Duke Dean and Connor Hickman causing fits for the Redbird defense as they're coming off screens, finishing and finding people.
There's Walker out the banks. Kinziger.
A big battle on the interior. Looks like they're going to get Chase Walker for that one.
That's his first.
A little bit of displacement there with Darius Hannah. But when Chase Walker's in the basketball game, they're looking to get him the ball, especially on that left block. And watch this battle. I mean, that's a couple big bodies in there. Chase Walker looking for position, extends that off arm. And anytime you see those arms extend outward of the chicken wing, it's a pretty easy call from the official.
Leon's back in, playing with 2 fouls and 6:30 to go until halftime. Hickman lets it fly, and it's off to the right. Kinziger goes to the floor and finds Dalton Banks. Suzuki to Kinziger. Count it! That'll bring you back in a hurry. 25-19 Bradley.
How about the freshman? Saw him getting it to the rack earlier. That's what he came into school known for, his ability to shoot the basketball. Kinziger hustle on one play, knocking down the 3 on the other.
Out of bounds. Stay tuned for our halftime report, sponsored by State Farm Insurance, a proud partner of the Missouri Valley Conference. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And we'll have our Arch Madness profile featuring ISU head coach Ryan Peden. Also go over the first half highlights and numbers from here in Normal, Illinois. Dean. Leons. Oh, is he wide open? 5 for Leons.
You know, John, I was just thinking, watching him take the ball out of bounds. Oh, Malavi Leon's back in the basketball game with 2 fouls. Why do you take that risk sometimes? That's exactly why. Heady play. Now Bradley switching a bit to a zone. Seen Brian Wardle do this a little bit more this year than he has in the past, just to mix up his defenses.
Suzuki. Kinziger out high. On the bounce for Lewis. They had the good shot.
Yeah.
And the scramble for the rebound. Here comes Duke Dean. Oh, the stop, the pop, in and out for Christian Davis.
How about the pace? Both these teams going back and forth, willing to be aggressive. Pretty good look for Davis.
Foster. High off the glass and down to Davis. Oh, Dean. Count it. He has 7 in the first half. He had 31 in the loss at Indiana State.
Great find for Christian Davis. Those two, a good connection. Duke Dean, Christian Davis finding each other on the perimeter.
Under 4.5 until halftime. Here's Banks. That's off. And Leons cleans the glass for Bradley. Dean and on Kazuki. Leons. And he missed the 3-point attempt. Banks in heavy traffic. Double dribble. Turnover. Illinois State with 4:05 to go. We're in the first half here. Almar Atlason, number 1, back in for Bradley. Leons 1 point away from 1,000 career at Bradley. Takes a seat on the bench. Kyle Thomas has given Bradley some good minutes in the first half, right along with Christian Davis. Allison up to Dean. Dean shoots over Kazuki. 9 for Dean.
You know, John, he's a little guy, but he gets up, doesn't he?
Oh, he has energy.
And gets way up on
that jump pass he makes with 2 hands cross court.
Yeah, it just sees the floor so well. And Duke Dean, as he's gotten more experience, just so patient on the offensive side.
Walker was fouled. And Duke Dean, the senior from Shreveport, Louisiana, give him 9 in the first half, and Bradley a 33-19 advantage. Attack with Dean scoring 9, 6 for Connor Hickman, 5 for Malavi Leons, 6 for Demarion Birch off the bench. Christian Davis has a 3-point field goal, and Bradley trying to pick up its 17th win and the 9th win in Missouri Valley play.
And how about 9 assists on those 14 made field goals as well? They got 4 guys with 2, so those are good omens for good flow offensively for the Braves.
Here's Banks. Burford has scored 4 in the first half. And he traveled. Plenty of resistance. A lot of red in the lane there for Bradley.
Yeah, a lot of arms to get through. But I think Darius Burford is that mentality, though, is part of what this Redbird team needs. Get downhill, look for opportunities to score in the paint. We've seen Burford do it throughout his career in a Redbird uniform.
Dean. Short. Pence. Lost the grip on it, and Birch found the grip. Scoring his 4th field goal.
Just tough luck there for Illinois State. Pence had that right in his hands, and Birch, sometimes better to be lucky than good for that too.
Burford with a whistle away from the ball. Bradley foul. And it's on Kyle Thomas.
Just battling on the inside with Miles Foster. Both Foster and Walker lefties that are strong, big bodies, work really hard to get posts near the basket. It's the type of game you leave with a lot of bruises. You're a defender.
Off the back iron, Kazuki with the offensive rebound.
Kazuki, a guy they need to get going a little bit. A 3-point shooter primarily.
And the foul is called on Birch, his 2nd. That's the 7th foul on Bradley. 1-1 coming up here for Illinois State.
And for a Redbird offense that struggled a little bit, opportunity to get to the free throw line could be big. We closed this last 2:20 in the first half.
Banks, a 61% shooter. 1-1 here. Bradley's on a 10-0 run over the last 3.5 minutes, leading 35-19. A bonus for Banks. He came off the bench in all 33 games last season. He has been a starter in all 23 this season for Illinois State. Coming here from the Southern Illinois Saluki program. Off the miss. The rebound for Christian Davis.
You were talking about Dalton Banks, so important for this team. He was top 10 in the league in assists before a couple weeks ago. Hasn't had as good of offensive games, but his experience that you mentioned in the league, important for this Redbird offense.
Zuki is trying to stay with Hickman off the switch. Lewis is watching him. Inside, Hanna. Give him 6.
Post game for the Bradley Braves. Leons from almost the same spot with the spin we saw a few minutes ago. This time it's the Darius Hanna show.
Inside 2 minutes to go until halftime. And off the drive, Banks couldn't convert.
That's a good look, though, John. I mean, he's right there. And Kendall Lewis even almost had an easy tip. Fortunate for the Bradley Braves.
Almost the key word.
Almost, yes. And this Redbird offense a bit snake bit at times here in this first half.
Largest lead at 37-20 for Bradley. Kinziger. He's back on the floor, number 11, Johnny Kinziger from DePere, Wisconsin. Duke Dean. Hanna with the dunk. Dean with another assist. the Redbirds can't stop it.
Well, I mean, look out below. Darius Hannah showing off the explosiveness. Bunny's off the floor. But to your point, John, great spacing, good offense, and a good find again for Duke Deen, his third assist.
Here's Pence. Moving in on Birch. Burford shoots over Hickman. And Dean runs it down in the corner. Inside a minute to go until halftime in our State Farm halftime report.
And no 2-for-1 opportunity here. Duke Dean goes early.
Dean was short, and a foul called as Dean hits the floor hard.
And making friends with the cameraman over there that he fell into. Hey, watch this. I mean, just watch this offense, right? So you clear one side. What does that allow? Well, when you clear one side, now there's no help to come from the backside. Has to come from the front side. The quick pass from Dean with a quick roll from Hannah means the help can't get over outside the paint. And if you're going to be inside the paint, Darius Hannah's taken off. Look out below. Darius Hannah, the two-hand throwdown.
Cade Hartke, number 12, is in the lineup. Junior from Lombard, Illinois. He has given Brian Wardle some good minutes off the bench. Here's Hickman stepping back. That's an air ball, and the ball goes to Illinois State with 25.4 until halftime.
And the part of the reason Duke Dean went fast a few seconds ago is to get a 2-for-1 opportunity. With the foul, though, the shot clock resets to 20, so Bradley couldn't get a second possession. Now Illinois State gets to close out the half, get a much-needed bucket here, down 19.
Here's Burford. Tip attempt no good, and we are at the half. And they have 71 victories overall in the series. And we're at the half. Stay tuned for our State Farm halftime report. We have a feature, highlights, stats, and more coming your way from Normal, Illinois. Staff highlights are made possible by Explore St. Louis. Boy, did Bradley move the ball well right out of the gate in this one to build up a nice halftime lead.
Yeah, it was Duke Dean on a back cut for the first possession of the game. Got Bradley started off really well. And what's a signifier of ball movement? Well, 10 assists in the first half. This Bradley team averages under 14 a game. Well on their way to that. And Darius Hannah, the Bunnies exploding off the floor. Great first half overall for the Bradley offense. And Johnny Kinziger, I thought a good first half in the middle there for Illinois State. You see him getting to the rim. This was after a big loose ball, knocking down that three to pull the Redbirds closer. They're going to need more of that in the second half.
And Bradley shot over 54% in the first half, holding Illinois State to 31% shooting. Illinois State has been able to get some offensive rebounds, but the putbacks, yet another story.
Yeah, I circled the same thing, John. 5 offensive rebounds, but only 2 second chance points. That's a big part of this offense.
The Valley is making its way to St. Louis for Arch Madness 2024, March 7th through the 10th. So start your planning right now at ExploreSt.Louis.com. Well, this first half, it was physical. It got up and down the floor late in the first half, yet Bradley was able to work around some foul trouble and build a nice, healthy lead.
Yeah, Malavi Leons went to the bench, and Almar Atlason. Both of them went to the bench early in the first half with 2 fouls, but have found ways to get chip-in contributions from guys like Demarion Birch and Christian Davis. Good first halves, but if you're the Redbirds, you have to look at 2 things. Well, you need interior scoring. You have Kendall Lewis, 4 points. Miles Foster, 2 points. Chase Walker, 2 points. All those numbers have to at least double, and from the perimeter, only 1 of 6 from 3. Need to knock down some 3-point shots to loosen this Bradley defense in the second half.
Well, Bradley has been a streaky team, going 6-0, then losing 5 in a row, and then winning 9 in a row. But they managed to win 10 of the last time. Report sponsored by State Farm Insurance, a proud partner of the Missouri Valley Conference. Have questions about your insurance? State Farm is there for all of your what-ifs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or go to statefarm.com to get a quote today. It's time now for today's profile, made possible by Arch Madness 2024. MVC correspondent Kurt Pegler takes a look at Illinois State head coach Ryan Beaton.
Ryan Peden has a goal of building a winning basketball program at ISU. He also has a goal of meeting as many people in Central Illinois as possible, which is why he started Peden's Places.
What I want to do with this series is be able to highlight the special people and places, the venues in our region that people may have not otherwise heard about, known about, or seen. What this is not is something that's self-serving at all.
So a camera crew follows him around to places like Bloomington's Luca Grill as he makes a pizza, and to Fairbury, where he jumped into a stock car.
I figured it would be fast. It was.
Now on the speedway, how about it, race fans? Ryan Peden, Coach Ryan Peden.
We were going just south of 100 miles an hour. I had no idea of how much sliding we were doing. I felt like I was an inch away from tipping over. What an experience it was. It was really cool and something that, maybe a once in a lifetime for me.
Rebuilding a program takes time. Race cars go fast. But the coach does see similarities.
When you get 25 or 30 cars out there with you, how you got to navigate, be able to make game time decisions in the moment, remain unemotional. You have a job to do. In hindsight, it was probably somewhat similar to coaching. It sheds a different light on me as a coach, a side that probably most people don't see and may never see again.
For the Missouri Valley Conference, I'm Kurt Pegler.
Our profile is made possible by the 2024 State Farm MVC Men's Basketball Tournament. Make plans to celebrate 30 years of Arch Madness at Enterprise Center in St. Louis, March 7th through the 10th. For more information, visit archmadness.com. The I-74 series continues with Bradley at Illinois State. We have more to come on our State Farm Halftime Report after this. And let's take a look at our first half stats, a presentation of Union Station, the home of attractions like St. Louis Aquarium, St. Louis Wheel. You can do it all at St. Louis Union Station. See where it takes you. Visit stlouisunionstation.com right now. And Bradley was able to outshoot Illinois State in the first half, rebounding fairly close. But points in the paint, 22-14, and Bradley made it look very easy getting to the basket early in the game.
Three numbers on the screen that stand out to you. 5 threes for Bradley, 1 to Illinois State. Look at the assists at the bottom, 10-5, and you called it, John. Points in the paint, advantage Braves as well. An offensive clinic in the first half.
The second half is coming up from Normal, Illinois, as the Bradley Braves lead 39-20 over Illinois State in the I-74 series. It's a beautiful building and a great environment for college basketball.
Absolutely. I think it holds kind of the right amount of people. It's a great atmosphere. We got this in-state rivalry. And, John, I hadn't been back to this place since 15 years ago playing here. And some of the upgrades they've made here, it is a beautiful basketball facility here in Normal.
And a great atmosphere for our game today that features Bradley leading 39-20. ISU's 20 points in the first half, tying the lowest output of the season, scoring 20 against Valpo on the 14th of January. Illinois State with the ball starting the second half, and Burford.
And that's where the ball needs to go, right there. Get Miles Foster,
there you go.
Touches. Get Miles Foster touches back to the basket, especially if Atlason's the freshman guarding him. Miles Foster, a good early start.
Oh, and there's Hannah for the left-hand dunk.
Feels like we've seen that play a time or two already. Darius Hannah flying through the lane. 4th assist, Duke Dean.
Just getting started in the second half here. Bradley with an answer to the opening basket of the second half by Illinois State. A loud answer at that on Hannah's dunk. Bench trying to feed low, but the defensive player of the year in the Valley last year, Leons with the steal.
He's just everywhere. Arms all over the place. Never safe on the offensive side with the arms of Leons.
Two-hand pass. Going out high for Connor Hickman. Hickman was covered well that time by Banks. 10 on the shot clock. Leons taking a look at the shot clock and driving. He has topped 1,000 points in his career.
Wow, what a testament to score that 1,000 points on just the experience of Malavi Leons. You know, John, you mentioned that he lost the ball, looked at the shot clock on the other end, knew he had plenty of time to get all the way to the rim.
Here's Burford with the behind-the-back dribble. Pence is open, a three-point attempt, and that rolls off. Connor Hickman brings it up now for Bradley. Oh, the bullet pass low through Hannah's hands. And Hannah's saying, oh, I should have seen that one coming.
He had almost another one of these. Watch this. He cleared the middle. Bradley does such a great job with spacing. And Darius Hannah, 2 feet off the ground. The bunnies explode for Darius Hannah. And here, watch this peek up at the shot clock. See that? That last-minute peek at the shot clock as Leons gets all the way to the rim, gets 1,000 points in his career.
Third foul on Leons. Stopping the clock at 17:56 to go in the second half, giving Illinois State the ball out of bounds from the near sideline. The pass will be triggered by Miles Foster.
And did they get that on Atlason? Looks like Atlason going to the bench.
Is that Atlason, or it was Atlason, not Leon?
Two starters for Bradley with 2 fouls. Good find on the backside and a good play. Coach Peden on that side out of bounds, getting Miles Foster now his 4th point. Good for the Redbirds for him getting going in the second half.
He has 6 overall, but 2 quick baskets here in the early going of the second half. With Hannah, another slam dunk, give him 12.
Boy, Darius Hannah wearing out the rim. Got his mitts all over it. Bradley switching back to his own. Trying to disrupt that Redbird flow early in the second half.
Number 22 is Kendall Lewis. Bench around to Burford.
You play a zone like this, it can be harder to find those ISO post-ups that we've seen with Miles Foster.
Steal and right back. Burford took it away as Christian Davis had the steal for Bradley. Hickman gets his hands on the ball out of bounds. 17:01 to go in the second half. Burford goes over to the bench. Off the bench, Johnny Kinziger.
Just active hands on the defensive side from Bradley continues. Christian Davis getting out in transition, turned it over, but then active hands for Connor Hickman as well. Not allowing anything easy near the rim for the Redbirds.
Christian Davis, a new career high with 4 assists. He had 3 at UAB on the 6th of November.
And we haven't heard much from Malachi Poindexter. He had 15 in both games last year that these two teams played. Knocking down some outside shots. Need his offense in the second half.
Poindexter, number 1 for Illinois State. Here's Foster banging his way in. Short.
And every time going to that right shoulder, wants to use that left hand, and you see Bradley really favoring Miles Foster, making it tough for him to get near the rim to use that left hand and the right shoulder.
Kyle Thomas in heavy traffic lost the ball. Poindexter. Banks around to Pence. Kinziger driving. Short because Thomas got in his way.
The length of Bradley again. Long arms of the law, making it tough for Kinziger. Bradley defense so tough to be able to break down and get all the way to the rim because of that second line help.
Bradley leading 45-24 at Illinois State. Hickman running into resistance from Foster. Darius Hannah, 12 points overall. And most of his action today right there at the rim. The Braves team, they have 10 players shooting over 40% from the field with at least 15 attempts. But balanced scoring today with 12 by Darius Hannah, scoring 2 vicious dunks. And here's Leons missing the layup. And Leons will be at the free throw line.
And just great execution continuing on the offensive side. So not only is it the scoring, John, but it's also the playmaking and the offensive creation. And now again, in an after timeout situation, Ryan Wardle drawing up a great opportunity for his team to get a good look. This time it's Leons, unable to finish, but draws the harm.
And he misses the free throw. Arch Madness 2024 will tip off March the 7th through the 10th. The only place to celebrate before and after all the action at Enterprise Center is the NBC Fan Hangout at Ballpark Village. For all you need to know about the fan hangout, download the Arch Madness app right now.
And Bradley going into a little three-quarter court pressure. We see this a lot after timeouts. Could be an opportunity for Illinois State to attack. Good job by Bradley getting back. Back to this zone. Makes it more difficult on those post-ups, but could leave open three-point shooters.
And the shot goes down for Kazuki.
And one of the best offensive ball movement stretches we've seen for the Redbirds. Inside, outside, extra pass. It's a good recipe to get a three-point knockdown.
Dean, he tried the answer. Leons with the rebound and a held ball. Tied up by Kazuki. And the arrow will keep the ball on this end of the floor.
The length of Bradley just creating that second chance opportunity. Good hustle from Leons there. But watch this. See, you get the ball inside the zone. Everybody turns and looks at the basketball. One kick out. Kinziger could have had an open look, but a nice extra to Kazuki. His first three of this game.
And a foul to reach in. Kinziger with his second foul. The third team foul against the Redbirds. One foul so far for Bradley in the second half. Malachi Leon. Duke Dean. Watched by Poindexter. Dean flying to the inline. Leons.
Well, John, it just seems easy, doesn't it? I mean, Duke Dean getting to the spots that he wants, tearing apart the defense now with 5 assists. And a lot of willing finishers right now on this Braves roster.
And a foul called on Christian Davis, his first. Let's go back to Dean. So much energy, whether he's scoring, whether he's moving, taking the ball through the lane, and finding an open man in the corner.
Pure. And you notice, John, it's not he's going 100 miles an hour all the time. It's kind of the starts, the stops. Duke Dean, as he's matured, really good understanding of time, space, and open opportunities.
There's Poindexter.
And that's necessary for Coach Ryan Pede, needing Poindexter and Kazuki to knock down shots from the perimeter. So important for this offense. Make it more difficult on the Bradley D.
Leons in on Kazuki. And a foul. That's Kazuki's third.
And a tough matchup for Luke Kazuki, giving up about 4 inches down there on the block. And Malachi Leons, part of the growth of his game, getting more comfortable in that mid-post area with his back to the rim.
And Leons with a second shot in play. Leons is 2 out of 3 from the free throw line. .11 to go in the second half.
Back to that three-quarter court. A little bit of zone action here, seeing with the length of Christian Davis at the top. Bradley looking for a turnover. Illinois State's got to just not get through it, but attack. There we go.
Poindexter. Kinziger was fouled. And that's on Davis, his second foul.
And the reason you attack like that, the importance is it puts the Braves in a recovery situation. So with all the recoveries as the defense is scrambling, now you create an advantage, either for a catch and shoot, an extra pass, or like Kinziger, smart there, little up fake, get Christian Davis off balance and draw the foul.
Now Banks at the point. And the steal. Christian Davis. Leons. Leons is finding his way to the free throw line quite often here in the second half.
And doing a good job drawing contact. You saw those long steps of the 6'9" Malachi Leons. Covers ground in a hurry. Doesn't look like he's moving that fast, but Malachi Leons can go from one end of the court to the other in just a few steps. So watch this. 1, 2, 3, step 4, 5. Look at those long steps getting all the way to the rim. Malachi Leons, a tough cover in transition.
And no shooting here. The inbounds pass. And Hannah scores.
Great execution again. Bradley Braves. Darius Hannah getting to that strong left hand. Switching back to the man-to-man defense here.
Number 4 is Foster.
Man-to-man, what do you see?
Oh, quick move. And he scores in heavy traffic. That's 8 for Miles Foster.
Nice play for Miles Foster, and that's the chess match between these two coaches. Zone creates open threes. Man-to-man means post opportunities for Foster.
Hickman. The ball is slapped out of bounds and will stay with Bradley.
Now take a look at this, Miles Foster. So you're playing man-to-man defense. Get that hand off me. Watch this. Up through 3 guys. Able to power his way up and through all the way to the rim. That's what makes Miles Foster such a tough cover as he bulldogs his way to the rim.
Under 13 to go in the second half. Oh, trying to dunk another one with the left hand. Hannah is fouled. What reach for Darius Hannah.
Darius Hannah with the worst of intentions there for the Redbird defense. Wow. That would have been a heck of a highlight. Darius Hannah showing off his athleticism.
Kinziger with his 3rd foul puts Hannah on the line for 2 here. Looking for point number 15 today. A season and career high 19 points at Murray State in November. And against Missouri State as well. He had 10 rebounds at Murray State. Hannah.
Yeah, he's been a lot better this year.
And a great shot blocker.
Yeah.
Nice roll there for Hannah. .16 for Hannah and 55-32 Bradley. Burford has scored 4. Those 2 field goals in the first half. Poindexter too strong with the 3-point attempt. Good seal off the rebound for Bradley. Birch. The fadeaway. Wow. He has 10.
Sometimes things are just going your way, aren't they, John? That not the highest percentage shot we've seen in the Bradley offense, but showing off the capability to Marion Birch.
Poindexter. Burford. Count it.
Good inside-out action. Get a touch of the paint. Increases your percentage as a 3-point shooter. Now Illinois State switching almost to a zone look as well. That 2-3 zone here for Illinois State. Trying to slow down this Bradley offensive attack.
Backdoor. Leon scores.
I mean, Duke Dean is just a surgeon, isn't he? I mean, picking apart this defense. Duke Dean now 6 assists. And just a heady play between he and his teammate Leons.
We have a timeout on the court. There's Birch on the fadeaway. He has 10. And Dean finding Leons, who has scored 15. Today's Missouri Valley Conference scores and schedules come to you as a presentation of Grinnell Mutual Insurance. Trust in tomorrow. And in the second half, it's SIU leading at UIC. Murray State leading big over Northern Iowa with about 12 minutes to go. And it's Belmont up by 2 at Missouri State in the second half. Coming up, Evansville at Valpo And then the showdown between Drake and Indiana State over in Terre Haute.
It's going to be a fun one. Couple straight sellouts in Terre Haute. Fans really getting up for a Indiana State team top 30 in the country in the net. Had a heck of a year under Coach Schertz.
The Racers are looking for their 4th NBC road win, leading big at UNI.
And I'm not going to mention what's happened to Murray State the last couple of games in the second half.
Why? What happened?
Losing a 20-point lead with 12 to go, a 15-point lead with 14 to go. And Illinois State involved in one of those games here earlier this week.
Thomas with the foul, his second. And Lewis will get to the line. No, Murray State has had a couple of collapses. Just fell apart on it.
Well, I mean, I think as a coach, you show how well we can play as a team if you get that 15-point, 20-point advantage. But also why the focus, the attentiveness, the attention to detail matters so much. And those points in this league can be fleeting and disappear in a hurry.
One more coming up here for Kendall Lewis.
You know, John, I was looking at the stat sheet we got during the timeout. I'm not sure I've seen this very often. How about Illinois State so far in the second half? 0 rebounds. Bradley's only missed 2 shots. They've gotten all their rebounds on the offensive side. And on the defensive side, every Illinois State miss. Bradley Braves there with 2 hands.
One and done. And over at the scorers table, Bear Walker trying to clear up something. They had the shot clock issue, and another issue with the shot clock.
That's what forced the timeout a moment ago. Looks like they may have had it fixed, but might be a reset issue with the shot clock.
So the teams will huddle around their coaches while the officials try to work things out at the table. Well, let's check out card number 14, according to Jeff Graham, and I happen to have that right here. Register to win an Arch Madness VIP package, including all session tickets for the State Farm Men's Basketball Tournament. Hotel accommodations, tickets to St. Louis area attractions, all involved there. Log on to explorestlewis.com/MVC contest for all the details, and we will see you in St. Louis in just over a month, with the champion going on to the NCAA Men's Basketball Tournament. 59-35 in favor of Bradley. And Adam, you have news for us. Breaking news here.
Breaking news. So apparently when you hit the big red button that says reset, the shot clock right now is resetting to 28. They need to make sure when you reset the shot clock, 28 is not in the rules, 30 is. So they got to rewire that reset button to make sure it goes to 30. That's what the officials are working through.
And they've been on the phone with the electrician. And they need a reset right now. Well, Bradley made 4 of its last 5 field goal attempts. And 4 of the last 5 for Illinois State. Lewis with the miss, but the rebound for Walker. Kinziger, that's a 3. His second 3-point field goal and 8 points today.
And a little full court pressure here. 2-2-1 action from Illinois State, trying to speed up this game, generate a couple turnovers.
Leons for Hickman. And back out to Dean, who is going to restore order now and get the Bradley offense moving. Hickman low for Thomas, and he's blocked. Kinziger was in there, along with Kendall Lewis, who picked up the loose ball. Malachi Poindexter into the front court.
Good denial that time by Kyle Thomas. Poindexter wanted to get Chase Walker the ball on the interior.
Burford stepping up. Back come the Braves with Dean. A bounce low, but Thomas wasn't anticipating the pass.
And one of the few times we've seen Duke Dean maybe deliver the ball before his teammates already. Good find.
Kinziger with the assist. Lewis has 6. And we have a timeout with 9:39 to go. 59-40 in favor of Bradley with the Braves after their 9th win in the Valley. 17 wins the next year, 25-10 last year. They're after their 17th win this season.
That's what you call building a program. Brian Wardle, one of the longest tenured coaches in the Missouri Valley. Obviously, you have the godfather and Ben Jacobson in Cedar Falls, but Brian Wardle has helped build this Bradley program with consistency year over year. And part of what we've seen them better and better and better this year especially, John, offensive execution. Nice find on a backdoor cut. We've seen at least 3 of those in this game. Bigs to guards on those backdoor cuts.
That's 10 for Hickman now. Lewis looking inside for Illinois State, coming down to 9 minutes left. Poindexter. He works in on Davis. Burford. 5 on the shot clock. Poindexter lets it go. And the volley over to Duke Dean. Bounce pass. Perfect. Hanna has 18.
Well, what can you say? What more can you say about Duke Dean and just his ability to facilitate, put his teammates in positions to succeed? Now 7 assists.
Inside Walker. He'll be on the line.
That's part of why the future is so bright with Chase Walker. A good move right there. Watch this. So is he open? Is he open? You can barely see space for the basketball. Chase Walker turning his head, and Duke Dean, such great awareness. Almost like a back shoulder fade that you see in football, throwing it right by the ear of the DB this time. Duke Dean getting it out to Hanna in transition.
Walker's on the line after the foul by Hanna. And the rebound belongs to Davis. Duke Dean coming up the floor, just looking, thinking, what do I want to do here? That's the way it looks.
Yeah, just
pick the play.
Absolute surgeon against this zone as well.
5 on the shot clock.
And switching to man-to-man at the end of the shot clock.
Dean is short. Burford with the rebound.
Really the first lackadaisical possession we've seen out of Duke Dean in this Bradley Brave offense.
Lewis inside for Walker. And the rebound by Allison. Walker commits his second foul. And with the foul, we go to break. It's 7:42 left in the second half. It's Bradley's day here in Normal, 63-42.
Yeah, going on the road, and you know, you get that in-state rivalry. These two teams separated by about 30, 35, 40 minutes. And we've seen some great games between these two over the years, but Bradley Braves coming out here to make a statement.
And the last Illinois State foul put Bradley in the 1-and-1. Johnny Kinziger. Burford. Poindexter a 3.
And a good set out of that timeout. Coach Ryan Peden getting that opening for Poindexter. Now he's scoring big for this group. Good to see some confidence from him, knocking down his second 3.
Poindexter played 4 minutes at Murray State on Tuesday. Did not score. 0 for 1, missing a 3-point attempt. In the corner. 3-point miss there for Davis. Out of bounds. And the ball belongs to Bradley with 7:01 to go. And Chase Walker going to the court.
And a scary moment there as Malavi Leons almost got his leg rolled up on there as he and Chase Walker were going for that ball and got up with a grimace, but seems to be walking around. Officials checking on him just to make sure he's okay, but as those players are diving on the floor, you just see that ankle twist. Good to see Malavi Leon stay in the game.
Hickman with his first foul gives the ball back to Illinois State. The 6th foul on Bradley. Illinois State now 63-45 inside 7 minutes to go. Kinziger with the hook pass. Poindexter stopping, popping. The rebound by Lewis. Burford lost that one. Davis got in his way.
Active hands again from the Bradley defense. And, you know, you look up, John, it's an 18-point margin. Illinois State gets a bucket and starts chipping away on that last possession as we tick under 7 minutes. Maybe it's a different game, but Bradley maintains control.
Leons for 3. 18 for him.
And that's what good teams do, right? Is you get where the opponent has an opportunity to gain a little momentum, and you give up a second chance point, but you stay with it, get a deflection, then deliver the hammer punch on the other side. Malavi Leons has been very solid.
Too high off the glass for Lewis. Hickman will bring the ball up the floor. And Bradley will use up some of the clock. Hannah directing traffic. 10 on the shot clock. Here's Birch. Missing the layup. Walker clearing to Burford in the front court. Poindexter is guarded by Leon. Henziger steps up on Connor Hickman. Poindexter looking for some space, but Leons won't give him any. Burford has that rim out, and Lewis is fouled.
And just great point of attack defense that time. You called it, John. Great point of attack defense for the Bradley Braves, and the help on the backside as they were looking to get the ball into Chase Walker. Demarion Birch doing a good job preventing that as well.
Leons with his 3rd foul.
And give Kendall Lewis credit. He's been active on the offensive board. 6 offensive rebounds for Kendall Lewis.
Lewis has 7 points. We have the 2024 St. Louis Cardinals season coming up. Ticket packs and single game all-inclusive tickets are on sale right now. So get yours at Cardinals.com.
John, are you a baseball guy? Do you watch baseball at all?
I've seen a game or 2.
How do you feel about your Cardinals going into this year? Just around the corner.
Can't wait to get started 3 weeks from today. We have our first broadcast. Cardinals and Marlins. I think we played the Marlins 600 times in spring training. Share the complex with us. The tickets are on sale. Cardinals.com. Click on tickets. Here's Duke Dean. We have a Class A team in Peoria. How about that roll by Leons?
And John, I don't know how I would describe that move. Maybe matriculating through the lane, the long steps.
Thank you, Coach Stram.
The long steps of Malavi Leons continues to create opportunity. Might have missed a walk. It was definitely unorthodox.
And that goes down for Poindexter. And we're going to break. Not yet. We're not going to break for a few more seconds. But Leons, check this out. Okay. Like throwing waste paper into the basket.
You know, one of the things they teach when you're playing overseas is you see that little hop step. So he picked up the ball and stepped on the same foot that he was picking up the ball on, which doesn't start your walk count until that foot hits, which allowed him to take 2 steps afterwards. We're getting a little technical here, John.
But we're seeing that a lot now.
But I think yes, that's what Malavi Leons learned from an early age. Putting it into practice here. And a good game for him.
Hannah working on Banks with the mismatch. Banks was able to hold his ground and a rebound for Foster.
This Illinois State offense has to get the ball back inside. Poindexter's back.
A 3, and he's fouled by Birch. And Poindexter will be on the line when we come back from our timeout with 3:27 left in the second half here at Illinois State. It's with 20, 18 for Darius Hannah, 10 for Birch. Demarion Birch, the freshman from Milwaukee. And you see Bradley leading 68-52 over Illinois State here in Missouri Valley basketball. On the other side, Malachi Poindexter has played 16 minutes coming off the bench. 3 out of 4 from behind the arc, and he has 12 points overall. with a couple of assists and has given them a little spark lately.
Yeah, Poindexter only 2 minutes in the first half. No points, but 12 points and 2 assists here in the second half. It's been a bright spot for this Redbird offense.
Poindexter with the 4-point play.
And you know, John Bradley's been in control pretty much this whole contest, but now a 15-point margin. So Illinois State still playing to keep getting back in this one, but needs stops, turnovers, and threes.
Back out front to the playmaker, number 21, Duke Dean. Tan to shoot. Out of bounds, and with 3.1 on the shot clock. It's Bradley's basketball.
I've been impressed with Johnny Kinziger. I didn't know. I was curious to see a young guard playing against length like Bradley. He's been spunky and found ways to make an impact.
Wisconsin's Mr. Basketball in high school. And with time running out, who else? Leons with 23 scores with time running out on the shot clock.
And there's been big buckets too. Malavi Leons just looks like he never gets sped up. Makes the game easy.
And a block inside leads to a foul. That's the second on Hannah. Walker to the free throw line. It's 71-53 in favor of Bradley. But Hannah, his last 5 games, 17-17, 18-18, and 23 today.
Leons has just been really good, and let alone he was the defensive player of the year in the league a year ago. You mentioned over 50 steals, over 50 blocks. Those are not normal numbers, right? I mean, appreciate the greatness on the defensive end that is Malavi Leons, and when you can chip in about 17 each game in your last 5 games, you got a special player. Brian Wardle knows he has that, number 14 in red, Malavi Leons.
He can pass a little bit too.
Well, you know, he got no assists. Like, what is the guy doing on the floor right now? No assists today. Not even helping his team, minus the 23 points and all the deflections.
And here's Dean. Under 2.5 to go. Hickman, 10 to shoot. Hannah on Banks. And that's out of bounds. It will belong to Bradley with 2.5 on the shot clock.
And watch for a lob here. Sometimes Bradley runs a set, gets somebody like Christian Davis standing right in front of the rim, looking to throw right over the top.
Last time with the shot clock running down, Leon's hit a 3. Leon shoots for 3 here and is short this time. Shot clock violation with 2:08 to go in the game. The Redbirds have the basketball.
And what's crazy, John, is you mentioned that over 20 points. He's only taken 11 shots. I mean, he's just so efficient all the time. Malavi Leons unable to knock that one down, but has had a fantastic game.
And Leons is 1 point away from a season high of 24 against UAB in November. Under 2 to go.
You hear the Bradley faithful in the background getting a little BU chant going here in Redbird Arena.
Poindexter met by a double team of Davis and Hickman. Poindexter picks up the ball and knocks down another 3. His 4th three-point field goal. He has 16. Season and career high 19 at St. Louis University in November.
And showing sides of life. Malachi Poindexter. Hopefully this will be a good sign for the Redbirds, needing his outside shooting.
Brian Wardle on the court talking with Randy Heimerman as we have a timeout with 1:30 to play in the game. But with the way the things are shaping up for the Valley, the top of the Valley looks really, really good this year.
Yeah.
where last year teams just beat up on each other going into Arch Madness, and we may see a little bit of that. Adam, your feeling about the 20-game schedule in the league and how grueling that can be leading up to that first weekend in March, on March 3rd when it's all over.
Yeah, I mean, so your first half through the conference season, which is where we are, we're past that curve, right? It's the second half that becomes more of a test of wills. You're playing teams the second time.
And everybody knows what you're going to do. You know what they're going to do.
And, you start to see some of your younger guys might hit a wall. And so it is that sustainability going through some of the dog days of conference season as you get into February. But I think you're right, John. I mean, at the top of the league, as we talk about Indiana State, only one loss, Drake a couple, Bradley just a step behind. All three of these teams, nobody would want to see come March, whether it's the NCAA tournament or the NIT.
Here's Hickman, guarded by Dalton Banks. 10 to shoot. Hannah with the two-hand pass. Hickman stepping up off the glass. 12 for Hickman, who averages 14.9 a game.
And again, once it gets down to a 13-point game, Illinois State builds some momentum. Great execution by Bradley in the half court, building back the margin.
Inside a minute to go. Poindexter made 3 3-point field goals against Kentucky. He has 4 today. Pence stepping up. Short. And that goes to Hartke. Cade Hartke. Bradley is on its way to its 17th win. And in the Missouri Valley Conference, the 9th league win. 9 on the shot clock. Dean threw it away to Poindexter. Ahead to Pence. And Pence scores. And with time running out in this one, Ryan Wardle ties Dick Versace for 4th all-time in victories. And Malavi Leons, 23 points, 8 of 11 from the field, and 4 for 5 behind the arc.
That's just great efficiency. I mean, absolutely great efficiency. And it's, you almost take it for granted because that's kind of what Malavi Leons does. And, the best part is the thing that is probably a little behind in its development isn't his defense. It's his offense, right? So continuing to get better even here in his last year in Peoria.
Well, no points at Murray State on Tuesday for Malachi Poindexter, but he had 16 in the second half, including 4